and welcome to the Sylvester Stallone podcast. I am your host / moderator, Paul Scheer, joining you for this epic Wolf Pop mini-series. Very exciting here. Let me tell you what we're doing. This is the Stallone podcast, and what we have managed to do is get Sylvester Stallone to sit down with me and answer fans' questions. Now, how did this happen? Crazy story. We actually have a few fans actually who worked on the last Expendables film, and they asked me if I would ever be interested in having Stallone on. Now, I do a show called How Did This Get Made, where we kind of poke fun at movies that are less than spectacular, and they wanted me to have him on for that, but I thought that would be not as much fun as being able to actually cover everything in his career. And so we asked him, would he be open to just answering questions from fans about anything and everything? And according to his people, he is, and I'm legitimately excited to do this. I mean, it's crazy. So for the next 2 weeks, every day, we will be going to Stallone and finding out the answer to a question. So it's 1 or 2 questions every day from fans like you, people who emailed us at askstallone@gmail.com. That's what you can still send in questions, because he's going to sit down with us twice today and then once next week while he's in town promoting something, I guess. But this is great. Really, really, really excited. But before we get into Mr. Stallone, I want to actually just give you a little bit of I guess a career overview of him. So Sylvester was born July 6, 1946, nicknamed Sly Stallone. He's an American actor, screenwriter, film director. He's known for his Hollywood action roles, Rocky Balboa, John Rambo, and he actually wrote every episode of both of those franchises and directed some of those installments as well. The movie Rocky was inducted into the National Film Registry, as well as having its film's props placed in the Smithsonian Museum. And there's a statue of Stallone in the front entrance to the Philadelphia Art Museum, and they're known as the Rocky Steps. He's been nominated for 2 Academy Awards for Rocky, Best Original Screenplay and Best Actor, and he is the 3rd man in history to receive these 2 nominations for the same film. The other 2 guys, Charlie Chaplin and Orson Welles. Basically, if you are a fan of film, you like Sylvester Stallone. He's done action, he's done comedy, he's done musicals. The man can do no wrong, and just when you think he might be phasing out, he does something amazing. Copland is one of the first times you saw him really transform. Expendables, again, transforming again, where all these actors are now growing into these roles where they're like these ass kickers like Liam Neeson or Keanu Reeves. Stallone has maintained his ass-kickingness for 30 years. He's got a body of work that spans from him playing himself to him playing characters that are virtually unrecognizable. He has a body of work that spans over 70 different movies. He's played himself. He has poked fun at himself. He is basically the most game person in Hollywood. He knows that his fans love him, and he loves his fans. So that's why it's very exciting for me to be able to sit down with him today. So we will now, I guess, bring him in. We're going to bring him in right now.
Actually, Paul, it doesn't look like he's here.
So he hasn't. He's not here yet.
No, it says he's on its way. People said he's on its way. It just doesn't look to be here yet.
That's fine. Well, you know what we can do? We can actually we'll pause the recording and we'll get back into it. Well, you don't have. Yeah, people don't have to even hear that. Okay, good. All right. So he's definitely not here, right? We actually, if you're listening to this, we've just been waiting now, I guess, for like another hour or so.
Yeah,
he has not shown up.
Like it.
He couldn't have shown up to the old Earwolf, right?
No, we emailed them the directions.
Okay. All right. Well, this is not a problem, because you know what? This should get you guys psyched for what the show can be. And I'm sure, and what we're going to do is we have to get this episode out today because it's the launch of Wolf Pop and everything like that. So we're getting this episode out today, but have no fear. If he comes in here in the next 30 minutes, we will sit down. We'll give you an extra episode with Stallone. You guys can email him questions at askstallone@gmail.com. And I mean, here, like, I'll just give you an idea of like some of the questions that we have. I mean, they're, it's kind of funny. I can actually ask some of the questions that I would never ask them. I mean, like, some people like wrote, here's a question I would never ask him. David Luke Harp, fake name, he writes, do you like to fart? Dude, I'm not going to ask Sly Stallone, does he like to fart? It's ridiculous. And by the way, of course he does. Who doesn't like to fart? Babies. Babies are the only, because they don't know what's going on. But once you have the power over your own sounds and body, we all love to fart. I'm not going to ask that to him. That's dumb. All right. All right. So have faith. Have faith or excitement because it's coming up. Sylvester Stallone podcast. It has begun. We will see you tomorrow with the man himself, Sly Stallone.
Pop.
Pop? Pop.
Pop. Pop. Pop. Pop. Pop. Pop. Wolf Pop is part of Midroll Media, executive produced by Adam Sachs, Matt Gorley, and Paul Scheer.
A waste of my talents.
Night singer.
Make it quick.
Welcome to the Sylvester Stallone podcast. I am Paul Scheer, and I have had an amazing weekend. I was isolated. I didn't see or speak to anyone for 34 hours this weekend. And what I did do was work on myself. And, I'm in comedy, which is a cynical business. Very cynical, as a matter of fact. And I think a lot of times you forget about the magic in your life. And I found some magic, and this is something that people make fun of all the time, but Rhonda Byrne, a really amazing woman, wrote this book called The Secret. And The Secret is about basically the law of attraction. And by putting positive thinking can actually create life-changing results, okay? And increased wealth, health, and happiness. Now, this book, obviously, I did not buy this book. It was left in the motel that I'm staying at. But I did a little research, and it has sold over 19 million copies and been translated into 46 different languages. And I think if it's good enough for, 19 million people, I think it's good enough for me. And so I started to... I hear a couple of you guys snickering at me out there already. Don't snicker. Do not snicker at me. This book is helping me. And what I want to do, and this is, let me explain how it works. If you think angry thoughts and feel angry, then basically you're going to create more anger. Conversely, if you think and feel positively, you're going to attract back positive events and circumstances. So I want to go out here and just kind of go back to the original intent. Okay, so here we go. Welcome to the Sylvester Stallone podcast. I am Paul Scheer. I am very happy to be here. I have felt that the last 2 weeks have been a learning experience where I have been able to embrace the idea that not always getting what I want is not always important. What is important is the experience and the fans and the amazing comments that I've been getting. And so that is what I'm embracing. I love everyone here. I specifically love Sylvester Stallone, and I would love to manifest him here in the studio. So I would like to manifest Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone, please come through this door and sit and do my podcast. Sylvester Stallone, I open my arms to you and come into this podcast.
Nature is all.
Make it quick. Of course.
I am one with nature.
God damn it! God damn it!
I'm gone. Whatever you wish.
Fuck! Shit! Fuck it! Fuck all of this! Bullshit! I did it!
As you will.
Okay. So that's just on the podcast. Paul Scheer signing off.
Pop.
Pop? Pop.
Wolf Pop is part of Midroll Media, executive produced by Adam Sachs, Matt Gorley, and Paul Scheer.
You want something?
Hello?
Hey, Mom.
Hi.
How are you?
What's the matter?
Just bummed out.
What happened?
I'm doing this Sylvester Stallone podcast, and I thought that I was going to get Sylvester Stallone to come in, and he has not come in.
So what happens now?
I don't know. They have me signed up for this contract, and I have to do this show, and people are listening, and I don't know. I feel like I feel like I'm going to look like a real jerk in front of everybody. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if I should. What?
Did he have a contract to do what he promised?
This is what I'm. Okay, so we talked to his people at one point. And like we advertised this, I talked to like the Wall Street Journal, and I just on Bloomberg. I just was on Bloomberg today, and talking to these guys, and I was advertising. They said, "Oh yeah, now he's not going to come now, so he's not coming." You know, so it just you know, like I don't know if you know how that you like when you feel like you put yourself out there in a way, and you just you know, now everyone I don't know sees it, and I just feel like a jerk about it. You know, because I don't know what to do to recover from it.
Well, let me ask you this: Is it totally lost? Is there any way that you could personally reach out to him?
I mean, yeah, I guess that's. I guess I could. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I know him or anything. You never met him, right? You never saw him like in the city or anything like that, no?
Who are you saying that to June?
No, I'm saying that to you.
Sylvester Stallone?
No, because I remember you ran into Chevy Chase in that liquor store one time.
Oh, yeah. No, I never met him in the city. Yeah, no.
All right.
But you know what? Can I tell you something? We had a similar thing happen at the hospital where we thought we were going to have these hospitalists join the staff, right?
Right.
And at like 12:01, they said, "Oh, by the way, we're not doing it." And the only thing that worked was for the chief medical officer to throw himself on the sword. And there was something that they didn't like, but rather than saying what they didn't like, they just said, "We're not doing it." So he found out what it was that they didn't like. He couldn't correct it immediately, but we got them to start. And I'm thinking that sometimes you have to kiss, well, I mean, in your business, you know it more than I do.
Yeah.
You know, I think you have to kiss his ass a little bit.
So maybe just like go in there and just kind of like, just maybe like offer up something that he's not quite getting or something, or just like kind of, fall on my sword a little bit.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, play to that.
I will.
Absolutely play to that.
All right, this is. I appreciate that. That's actually really good advice. You know what? Because I feel like everyone's just like kind of against me. Like June's even saying, like June told me, she's like, I don't want you to stop doing the show. You're embarrassing yourself, and everyone's trying to say just cut your losses. And you're the first person to tell me that I should continue, and I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, and I bet you it'll work.
Yeah,
I really do. I tell you, we had millions of dollars at stake, and
that's the same thing with this. Yeah, well, no, I mean, Wolf Pop, not millions of dollars, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe there's something you can offer him. I mean, would he be somebody that you would want on the league?
Well, I mean, you think he would be like into, like, if I could like kind of put that out there, like he could be on the show and be like, he'd be a cool currency.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right.
I would just really, I don't want to say beg, but you know what I mean by falling on your sword.
No, I definitely do. I definitely do. This is great. Thank you, Mom.
Okay, honey.
Thanks
all right.
much.
Oh, I'm glad to help. I'm Christmas shopping for Gussie.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, all right.